Evidence. Tonight, see what truly exists inside the world of the paranormal. Inside. Join the discussion and review some of the best paranormal evidence captures from a wide variety of experienced and up-and-coming investigators. See and hear what they capture, where they captured it, and how they captured it. Right now on Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Entity Voices Paranormal Evidence.
Hello.
I'm Chris.
I'm still Audra. Hanging
I'm
in there.
Tony.
I'm still Cherie.
We have got a special treat for you guys. I'm going to have to say I apologize. The promos had the Jennie Collucci encounter going on tonight from the Bash, but unfortunately, Jennie is not able to join us tonight. She's not feeling very well.
Get well soon.
Yes, get well soon.
Jennie. But Ron and Lourdes unfortunately could not be with us tonight because Ron's son is officially leaving for college tomorrow. So he wanted to spend his last night with his son before he left town for college. So they're not able to join us tonight because family comes first, right?
Yeah.
But we do have some special co-hosts.
Yay.
Everybody say hello to Dos Cocos.
Yay! Hey, everybody.
Hello again, friends.
Hello. Good to see everybody.
So the reason we brought Dos Cocos on is because we couldn't do the Collucci encounter tonight, we decided to talk a little bit about Gettysburg Bash and everything that we did and had fun while we were there. And stay tuned. 2 weeks from this week, we will have the Collucci encounter followed up by the Staticom Strikes Back, which is all part of the same investigation in the one room. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But the six of us are going to talk to you guys about the Gettysburg Bash.
Yeah, it's a great time.
It's a great time. So sorry we couldn't bring that to you tonight. Unfortunately, Mrs. Collucci is not feeling well, and that's why we are not going to show her experience without her, guys.
Absolutely.
We're not going to do it. We want her here so she can give you guys that genuine experience that she happened. And then you guys, what's really neat is we'll talk a little bit more about it later, but I just want to give you a little teaser. What's really neat is it's not just evidence clips, but you guys will get to see video from the investigation. So you'll actually get to see an actual investigation going on with some of the people you see here on your screen tonight.
Maybe a couple of us.
Maybe a couple.
Gettysburg is awesome.
Gettysburg is awesome.
It's a great time. If y'all don't ever get to the Bash, it's got to be on your bucket list.
It does.
Got to do it. Go mingle.
Absolutely. We had a great time.
It was a wonderful time.
Did you see Raul?
Yeah.
Yep, those Cocos, the favorite locos. Hey, Raul. And yeah, definitely if Jennie's listening, hopefully gets better soon, and look forward to having her share her experience and how we were all there and kind of experienced it together. So
Yeah.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So just a little teaser, guys. Okay, there's going to be a lot of teasers tonight. So I'm not going to lie. There's going to be a lot of teasers tonight. But just to give you guys a prelude to it, Jennie had a very good experience. Well, not a very good experience. She had an experience that was a little bit traumatic, but led to 3 parts of investigations. And the first one was Audra and I doing a reading in the room, which was pretty intense. And then it led to the Cocos and Audra and I and Jennie doing a later investigation in the room, which led to Tony and Cherie doing a Staticom session in the room the next night. So there's a lot to look forward to with that show. We want to make sure that everybody tunes in for it, especially when Jennie's up on her feet and feeling better. We want everybody on the show in the audience to welcome her back because she is the cause of the 2 shows.
Well, she is.
She is. But it was pretty intense, guys. I had a paranormal hangover for 2.5 days after we left Gettysburg from this small little investigation that we did, and you guys will get to see it.
a lot of
and we took the room, rented it following night.
Yeah.
Did Staticom, which I won't go into much detail at this point, but there was a not so nice spirit in there. And after him for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I woke up. I couldn't even breathe. I had a pinched nerve or something in my chest, and we're trying to go to the airport, and I'm pulling out the luggage and everything, and every breath I took, it was like, So I was thinking, okay, was that him? I don't know. I can't prove anything, but I didn't feel good. And still, I can still feel it when I take a deep breath today.
And he said revenge, right? Or avenge.
Avenge, he said.
Avenge. We are the Avengers.
So now, after hearing that, Tony, I mean, because we were on vacation the week of after the bash, and we ended up go home, leaving Gettysburg. So we ended up spending the night in Farnsworth. And then I know we had texted and we were maybe thinking about coming back once we heard you guys were maybe going to run it. I don't know. I'm kind of like,
didn't come back.
We're sad we didn't come back.
Yeah, you would have loved to have you come back. It was crazy. It was, but everyone's going to get to see that. This is just a prelude to it. But
yes,
he started off. The first thing he said to Cherie, we literally had to stop. I had to calm down. It was just vulgar as can be, and I was pissed. I mean, literally 2 seconds into it, and I'm like, stop. I had to literally regain my composure before we could continue because of what he said.
Yeah.
And then you'll get to see when Jennie does her first portion of it, when she comes back, you'll get to see that he does not like women. The energy in the room does not like women. He would only respond most of the time to my questions because I tend to look like a biker a little bit, right? And little snidbit. We're pretty sure that that's an energy of a biker that used to stay there. So let me give you a little bit of history about where the bash was. The bash was at the Eisenhower Hotel and Conference Center, which is the oldest still active hotel, minus the 1800 buildings that they use for inns like the Farnsworth and stuff like that. But active hotel. It was built in the late 50s, early 60s on a property that used to be Eisenhower's farm. Now, the original house is out front. The original barn is out front of the spire, which is connected to the Eisenhower Hotel. And the Eisenhower Hotel right now, which is really interesting, is going through a lot of renovations, right? So there's a portion of the hotel that is a little bit dilapidated. The rooms are been brought as current as possible, trying to
make it sound nice.
Yes, but the Aspire has been completely updated, but they're connected by a walkway.
Hello,
Hey, Lourdes. So Gettysburg Bash was held at a different hotel up the road the last 2 to 6 years, however long it's been going on. And unfortunately, that to be honest with you, that event center could not handle the paranormal folk. We were upsetting some of their regular guests. They didn't like the fact that we were up late at night, but what do the paranormal people do, right? We are night folks. That's what we do. So they changed venues to support the Gettysburg Bash. So what's really awesome is it sits right down at the tip of the southern battlefield on top of it. And the history of the hotel is it used when it was first brand new. Of course, it held the highest socialites that would come in. Teddy Roosevelt has stayed there at some point, I think they said. So some pretty prominent people stayed there when it first opened up. Well, eventually it went into disarray, and eventually in the late 70s, early 80s, it became one of the big biker hotels in Gettysburg, which has a direct connection to what you're going to see when Jennie comes on. Okay. So the room that Jennie actually stayed in was room 158. It's already booked for next year, so don't even try it. Somebody already booked it. And it is the most haunted hotel room in the hotel.
I know Jennie.
So the best part about it is they've got a big conference center connected to it. They've got a bar, they've got a restaurant, they've got everything needed for the bash. And the bash was strung out through the hallways into the major conference center. And if you get anybody that's friends with us on Facebook, some of the pictures that we took at the bash was of the conference center. It looks just like a normal conference. The only difference is there's paranormal weirdos all the way up to paranormal famous that show up at the Gettysburg bash. I'm going to state it like it is, guys. That's just the way it is. And anybody that's been in this field for years knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And it is just a 4-day journey of everybody getting together. There you go, Lourdes.
Thank you, Lourdes.
So with that being said, anybody that's in the paranormal field and has been for years, you get to see anybody from, we got to talk to Johnny Zaffis, we got to talk to Dave Schrader, all the way over and across the room to Terry Hopper, Anthony Simonelli, all had tables at the bash. Kayla Symington had a table at the bash. These are the people that we run into. These are the people we love. Taryn had it. Taryn worked at the Peaches, the Paranormal Peaches, ran the raffle at the front. And it is the whole meaning of the bash is it's a paracon that is surrounded by two of the main charities. Is one is Wounded Warrior. So all the money raised and all the money raised from the raffle goes towards Wounded Warrior, and it's I forgot the name of the organization, but it's an organization for battered women. And they also do it in July, so it can be Christmas in July. They also take donations for Toys for Tots for Christmas time. So everything is there. It's for a great cause, but most of all, it is a great time for all of us to get together.
Yeah,
it was.
We got to see the Cocos again. We got to see Simonelli. We got to see Ron and Lourdes. And for the first time at the bash, Tony and Cherie all sit there.
It's so fun.
Tony and Cherie leave Thursday night to go back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So Cocos get to see Tony and Cherie twice in like 30 days.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, that's
Right?
gonna be cool.
Right.
Gonna be cool.
Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it up, guys.
No, and we
It's
understand,
alright.
Chris, your new work schedule and Audra's health and this one's it's only a
45.
Well, honestly, it was just going to be me not because Audra was sick, but because of her time off with work. But at the same time, I wouldn't be able to leave until sometime on Saturday, which means I wouldn't get there till 4 or 5 o'clock on Saturday and turn around and come back Sunday morning. So it was like,
understood.
Unfortunately, I can't come, but
we're
going to try. Anything I can do to get back to Gettysburg.
I know. Especially with you guys being there. It would have been so awesome.
So I'll let the other 4 talk in just a second. The best part about Gettysburg, guys, is no, you don't get to talk.
Welcome back, Audra. Welcome back.
Feel the love.
This is why I love him so much.
Have you got Gettysburg underneath the table there, Chris?
Yeah, she already kicked me. It's all right. I haven't got the eye roll yet, but I'm working on it.
It's coming.
The best part about the Gettysburg Bash is the people you get to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and I'll tell you why, because we started at one end of the room and we told Anthony Simonelli, "How you doing?" There he is.
Anthony,
We told him, "Hey,
Anthony.
we're going to walk around a little bit. We're going to stop by your table." An hour and 45 minutes later, we'd only made it halfway across the room. Because there were so many people we hadn't seen in so long, we stopped and talked and hugged and took pictures. And
I don't even know them. Sorry.
I can do it, Gio. I can put their names in.
We will start tagging people so you guys can see who we got to take pictures with. But the best part about it is the people, the time you get to spend with them. And that's why Audra and I go. We don't even take our equipment with us.
No investigating for us as a general rule of thumb.
As a general rule of thumb, this one took a turn.
Yeah.
Tony and Cherie, you want to talk about it? It was your first experience.
Yep, your first experience. How'd you guys like it?
I don't have anything bad to say about it at all. It was a great experience. I completely agree with getting together with people that you've never seen before, know of, but never met before. That was fantastic, getting to see people again. It's just a great arrangement of getting to communicate, talk about, what's been going on, what you've been up to, find out what other people have been doing and what their future plans are. That was probably the most significant part for it, at least for us. And one of the reasons we went too, we went obviously to display Staticom, show how Staticom works, which went very, very well. Don't get me wrong. The only drawback to where we were located was probably the only thing that I wish maybe could have been changed, and that it's already being looked at, I think, for next year. But we are way down this hallway in the other hotel. I mean, the two hotels are connected. The Eisenhower and the Aspire are connected.
Yeah.
But I think we lost a lot of future people to know what was going on with Staticom and to hear it and to experience it, just because you wouldn't think walking that far there'd still be stuff occurring that was part of the bash, and there was. But luckily, Dave Schrader gave some announcements. There was one other one. I don't know if it was Dave Spinks or if it was I can't remember. A couple people gave announcements, said, "Hey, if you want to hear Staticom," and so we packed the room that night. It was almost full. That was great. But I enjoyed the event. I'm sure we'll go back.
It's a short day, so like 2 days. Yeah, 2 days.
Well, we were there Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because we didn't leave till Monday.
Right. And there's like 100 of vendors, and I'm like, I don't know which one to go to. And I didn't win a $700 Coach backpack. So I wonder who that might be.
Wonder who that was.
There
There it
you go. Can I borrow that next time?
You're using it already, Chris?
Oh yeah, I filled it up. So guys, the Gettysburg Bash, to raise money, they have all kinds of stuff, and you can buy tickets. They have a 50-50 drawing. You can buy tickets for the raffle, and
there's tons of great prizes.
Long story short, part of the raffle was this $600 Coach backpack. I bought $40 worth of tickets and won it. So there are things you can take home.
Yeah, lucky you.
The best part is when I was
going to say, and somebody else won something, I believe.
Oh,
there it is.
Oh.
So we won this too. 3 of us won. And the crazy thing is, if it's okay to tell the story.
Yeah.
So at the end, what was it? Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
We were doing the raffles. So we all bought a bunch. It was Chris and Audra, Carmella, myself, and Jennie. So Jennie wanted to go. Jennie, it was her first time at the Gettysburg, and wanted to go drive and do the go take a tour of the battlefield. So she had gotten, it was the 50-50 raffle. She gave me her tickets. She goes, we're down to the last couple. Chris is like, oh, I want that Coach bag. Boom. He wins. The next one after that. So we were sending out good vibrations, good intentions.
What is that? What kind of?
Right after they won, we get our numbers called. We win. So now it's down. That was the last raffle of stuff they were raffling off. And then all of a sudden they're getting ready to do the Dave Schrader's, getting ready to pull the 50-50 for the cash prize. Jennie comes in and we're like, Jennie, what the hell are you doing here? Where did you come from? Like I literally had pulled her out her tickets, holding her tickets. And she's like, oh, I felt bad, whatever. And she came back literally as I was handing her the 50-50, on a number, and it's her freaking number. So
he's
her name.
Jennie Collucci, that's what it was.
What did I do?
Yeah.
She had no clue.
You won how much?
So
$170 or something.
Yeah, like
174.
Yeah.
174 to be
Not
exact.
bad.
but it was just
Which is a
Weekend.
smaller pot from last year, but when you spend $10,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
just
Yeah.
a really cool occurrence of you guys won, we won, and then when Jennie, I'm like, here, Jennie, here's your tickets, and then her name got called.
See, what I didn't tell you guys is Audra and I had just gotten back. Where were we at?
Key West.
No.
Florida.
No, we had just
Oh.
gotten back at the bash.
Oh.
Is that when we took Tony? That's when we took Tony and Cherie.
Yeah, we went to go do the whole battleground thing.
Yeah, we took Tony and Cherie for a drive on the battlefield, and we had just gotten back to the hotel. They ran down to do Staticom, and as we were walking down, I looked at Audra and went, I feel really good about this raffle.
Yeah, you spend $50 on tickets.
40.
Oh, 40?
But he won a $600 backpack. Not a bad deal.
I'll take that trade off any day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right?
Let's
That's
go
like a
back
$40 coach purse.
See,
on Bash.
y'all, there's a story behind it. Audra is addicted to Coach.
I'm not.
And every time we go to Coach, I've got 2 Coach wallets. They don't have a whole lot of men's stuff, right?
No.
They do have men's backpacks. And the last few times we've been in there, I've wanted one of the Coach backpacks. They start in the outlet at $325. And I every time we're there, I'm like, I just can't see spending $325, even though it's a $700 backpack. I can't see it. The last time we went there, I fell in love with the $700 backpack, the exact one that I want. And I'm like, I really like that backpack. I came this close to buying it, and I didn't. Instead of $300-400, it cost me $40. So it was worth
That's
it.
awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely worth it.
And it's her fault. It turned me into a snob. So
Now,
all right.
I have to ask, do you carry it over one shoulder or do you do the full backpack?
no, one shoulder.
You never know.
Are you
You never know.
So how was your experience at the
I can tell you, we went last year, and I was scared. I said, I don't know if this is a good deal. I don't know if we should ever come back. I was a little
Really?
scared last year. It was a little crazy.
So it was our first experience last year. I think out of the whole weekend,
Well, we didn't know anybody.
Yeah,
we didn't know
anybody, so it
anything.
was,
we were
you
just
know,
kind of like it was just
we
not
wanted
what
to
I'm
see.
used to, I guess.
Not used to. We wanted to experience, obviously for the Wounded Warrior and the Dana's Wishes for the kids. So obviously to go there to support that, and
We
it was
wanted to
kind of
check it
like
out.
we were testing the waters, dipping our toes in the water, so to speak.
Yeah. No,
And we had actually stayed at. We didn't even stay on because we decided last minute kind of to go, and I think most of the rooms were already sold out at the hotel. So we ended up finding a Airbnb down the road, which was a cool place because it's a very historic ties to the Civil War and stuff. And we ended up staying there and doing an investigation. So this year we knew after meeting everybody and kind of the connections that we've made.
Oh, it was much better this year.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was.
plus we stayed on site.
And we stayed on
We
site.
knew all you guys.
Yeah.
Right.
The
It
weather's
made it-
not bad at all.
No, the weather was great.
Not saying, everybody's personality as far as, believe it or not, I'm a shy person. Like, I don't talk that much.
Never.
If I don't know you, it's a little shit. If I start talking.
No, that is
I'm picking up Audra's cough.
She's a shy
I'm
boy.
quiet. He doesn't talk like that. And you know that.
Have I changed that much?
Yes.
But yeah, so Gettysburg, the whole event, it was the bash was an awesome time. We started off. We were Tony and Cherie's chauffeurs on Friday. We were more.
No, thank you so much
Yeah,
for picking
thank you
us
so
up.
much.
I really
was funny,
appreciate
so-
you guys.
When we were talking, I think we were with you. I think we were with Chris and Audra and Jenny. And I'm like looking at the clock, and I'm like, I don't like to be late or whatever. So I'm trying
Anthony.
with Anthony. Maybe that's what it was too.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, we got to leave. So I wanted to leave by 4:00 because I know, and I have a flight radar app. So I was going to track them. I was tracking their flight. I'm like, all right, they're going to get in a little bit early or whatever, even though it said like 5:30, they're going to land maybe like between 5:15. So now we're driving. It's a Saturday going up 15 or 30, whatever it is, towards Harrisburg to go pick them up at the airport. What do you hit? Construction. I'm like, mother.
Yeah.
I'm like,
You could say fucker on her
And
pod.
then he said they're flying right above us.
so I have the
Right
app on, I have the GPS going, but then I also have the flight radar and I'm tracking their flight. And I'm like, oh shit, there they go. We watched them. They were off in the distance, but we literally watched Tony and Cherie fly past us.
When we landed, we got off the plane. We went down to baggage. We were still waiting for our baggage to come out. It hadn't even come out yet. So we stepped outside to have a cigarette. Todd's like, I'm here. His timing could not have been.
It worked out.
We went back in, grabbed the bags. Away we went. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Here's the best part is Todd and Carmella picked him up because we had drive 7 hours already, 7.5, 8 hours. What was awesome is Audra and I and Tony and Cherie have been friends for years. It's not just a paranormal thing. It's a personal thing. They've been to our house for Christmas. We've spent many holidays together. We've spent many bar tabs together. We've The best part is we had an extra bed in the room and we went, come on. And we got to stay with them for the weekend too. By the way,
awesome.
I've already booked next year's room and there's a bed in there for the Rathmans.
Can I say that you're snoring?
Who snores?
I was just saying, it was really light. Really
I know, but it's so light. Like,
Put earplugs in, you'll be fine.
I think it's you, Chris.
No. You know how you know it's her? Because I'm pointing at her and she's not adamantly denying.
It's not me.
You know what Marie said to me? That's 2 nights in a row. I didn't hear you snore.
Yes.
She's like, I expected you to be the one keeping up everybody. And she's like, I didn't hear a thing from you. Yeah. Like, okay, good.
Because I barely sleep.
I don't sleep that sound. Y'all, I wake up when a mouse farts. And I wake up when Cherie farts.
I did not fart.
She may have. She was full of gas, you know.
It's not bad at all.
Listen, Cherie, just blame it on the cabin pressure from, body adjustment.
The hotel is so old and you thought it's a fart sound, but it's not.
Between Audra and Cherie in that room, the people upstairs had their EVP recorder going. They thought it was haunted.
You're so full of shit.
I have recordings of you snoring.
No. He does.
I do.
So actually, when we ended up staying at the Farnsworth house that Saturday night, and we put up the camera, the full spectrum camera and the EVP. And I admit, she's like, you snore bad. I'm like, I don't snore. Sure enough, there's evidence. I'm just like,
loud. I mean, he shakes the building.
So,
and
I was actually louder than the AC window unit in the room.
That's true.
I will admit I breathe heavy, but I don't snore.
If I snore, I wake myself up and say, what was that?
She's the white noise.
She power naps, and then I'm looking at her, and she's like, she'll wake up, and I'm like looking at her, and she's like, "What are you looking at?" I'm like, "You were snoring."
I was not.
Breathing heavy.
I was awake the whole time. I heard everything you said.
We're just exhausted that night. That's why we snore. We're allowed.
We're all allowed.
Yeah.
But yeah, anybody that's never been to the bash, it's definitely well worth.
We had a fun time.
Yeah, it was a great time. I mean,
it was.
Not just because we, the connections that we had with everybody, and who we've become good family and friends with. It's just meeting, like Tony said, Chris and Audra said. You meet a lot of different people that you normally wouldn't see. You make new friends. You catch up with old friends. So it was a very nice experience.
Yep.
The bad thing with me is I don't remember anybody's name but ours. And I'll say, who is that? Is he famous? Do I know him?
A trader.
I had no idea. He's like, I'm like, I don't know.
Thank you, Lourdes.
That's not true.
And where else in the world can you go and hear Chris from EVPE heckle Dave Schrader during a raffle and get told to shut the fuck up by Dave Schrader?
Right. I forgot he did tell you.
Not kidding. Dave said something about now we're raffling off this next thing, and hey, this guy was on the Holters file, and I went, whose show was that?
You must have been doing Staticom. I don't remember hearing.
Yeah, you guys were in Staticom at the time.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, I hopefully they work the kinks out, because it was, you know, the first year being, you know, at that location. So
right.
You know, definitely speaking to
the other location they had been at for years. They had worked out the kinks. The setup was all arranged. And
hey guys,
hey, Jen and Mondo. We got to see Jen and Mondo.
We got to meet Jen and Mondo. They're great people.
Yep.
Yes, they are.
We got to meet them
We got to
in
meet them as
person.
well, which was nice. Yeah.
We know one thing. I know Carmella wants like separate time from paranormal travel, but Jennie and Mondo are down in Miami. Carmella's niece lives in Miami. Just saying. So maybe
We can meet up at some point.
Maybe.
Although she's here, so we'll have to wait till she gets back.
And for everybody watching, 305 Paranormal will be back on EVPE. We talked to Jen and Mondo in Gettysburg, and they've got some new stuff that they want to show. So we are going to have them back.
Awesome.
Yes. Very cool.
And they're awesome. They're an awesome couple. We didn't know, so that when they were there, they actually went to where we just kind of went out with Ron and Lourdes to My Haunted Manor last Saturday, where they were at in Columbia, which is about 30 minutes from Gettysburg. We saw one of their YouTube promos and stuff. They were there. I guess they went and investigated Saturday night. And the crazy thing is, we had very similar experiences. So that's the neat thing about sharing information and findings and evidence. When you are able to get connections and stuff and see that people have similar experiences and stuff, that's what it's all about. Trying to find working towards an answer.
Exactly. Exactly.
And Todd brings up a very valuable point that it's also connected to the bash too, is there are tons of investigations going on in Gettysburg that you guys can get involved into if you decide to go to the bash. For those of you that have never been there, they had investigations at the Eisenhower House right on the property. They had investigations in downtown Gettysburg. And Gettysburg, downtown Gettysburg, guys, is if you want to walk through a time warp, Gettysburg is the place to be. And the only bad part for those of you that have never been to Gettysburg is you cannot do nighttime investigations on the battlefield.
They won't allow it.
They actually have police that patrol. They have rangers that patrol sunset to sundown, and then that's all you're allowed on the field. Once the sun goes down, you're not allowed out there, unfortunately.
I know we had a nice little chat, but speaking of sunsets, so when we stayed, because we wanted to catch a sunset from Little Round Top, because it had been, since we've only been out there a couple times, and it had been closed for renovations. So it opened up, and it was gorgeous sunset. And then you see the perspective and you get the humbleness of what was going on during that battle, even though it's a very peaceful and quiet, kind of serene place. But we were up there, and we actually did an EVP, and we actually caught a pretty neat EVP when we were up there.
So, that's awesome.
You will get to hear the next time that they're not co-hosting and they're guests. So I want to share something. There you go. Sunset from Little Round Top. This is straight from Todd's profile on Facebook.
Oh, nice.
There you go. Yeah, it was gorgeous.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you guys can see Little Round Top overlooks the battlefield below. Little Round Top is where all the commanding officers stood and watched the battle and gave commands. And
when you're up there, it's just so real. Like, you're standing there and it's silent, and you just think, oh my God, like what happened?
That's awesome.
Having to watch that happen.
So let me answer that question, Gio.
I think that's prior to, isn't it?
Some of those are prior to current day, and some of those are they didn't get caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go.
You can go out there.
You can drive through.
You can drive through, but you will get stopped. And I can tell you the average fine, and I looked it up. The average fine from being on the battlefield at night ranges from $500 to $4,700, depending on what they catch you doing.
Wow. Wow.
And if what you have done on the battlefield at night and you get caught involves anything concerning litter or trash, the fines go up even higher from that. The battlefield is a federal, national protected area.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's not just a state thing. It's not just a county thing. That is a federal. I don't know if you'd call it reserve, federal park. Federal park.
Oh, that reminds me of a story. So Gettysburg is relatively small town, considering when you bring in like the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. There's a lot of people in town. Well, it was Friday night, I think. We decided to go out to eat. And the place we went, there was an hour wait. And we thought, well, you know what? That's not too bad considering what time it is and all the people walking up and down the street.
Yeah.
And there was another place that we were thinking about, and we heard somebody say there's a 2-hour wait there. So we're like, no, we're going to stay right here. And Cherie says, why can't we just, instead of waiting for a table, why can't we just get the food and take it over there and eat it in the park? What was that park?
That park was the National Cemetery.
No cemetery.
It looks like a park to me.
Park to us.
So the part that Cherie was pointing at, Audra and I have been on this cemetery. We actually did some EVP work there a little bit. There's a portion of it that has the above ground headstones. There's a portion of it that has monuments, and then there's a portion of it that is right across the street from the hotel or from the restaurant that Tony's talking about, that is Union and Confederate soldiers buried. And there is literally thousands of headstones in the grass where Cherie pointed of Union and Confederate soldiers that were buried there. You just can't see them because the grass is taller than the headstones. So it looks like a really clean cut grassy park, but it's not. When the minute you get over there, the headstones are only about this far apart.
I didn't see that.
You
I
wouldn't,
see only
because
grass.
They lay flat.
They're flat to the ground.
Flush with the ground.
Yeah. But if you go over there and you walk, I mean, you can go on our profile from 2 years ago when Audra and I went through the cemetery. You can I literally took a picture, and there's thousands and thousands of rows of these headstones, and they're all Confederate and Union soldiers. So while it looked really neat, kind of gross.
Well, you never know. I mean, the spirits may have wanted a little, appetizer or maybe or even a little dessert. You never know.
You're eating. It's like picnic, and then at the same time you're doing EVPs. I'm just saying.
Right.
So I have another story. Well, I have a story to follow up on Tony's with that. So while we were waiting, so when Ron and Audra showed up, it was awesome just seeing the 6 of them together in person, and you can truly sense the family atmosphere and camaraderie and the friendship that they have for each other and the love that they have for each other. So
Thank you.
That kind of gave me goosebumps when I saw it, and it's pretty cool, and we're happy to be your friends. Glad we've met you. And
it's real. We've said it on the show numerous times. You guys actually got to experience that in real person. That the 6 of us are just truly family. You can take the para out of it. It's just pure family.
It's family. I agree.
It's just amazing. Like, we used to see you guys only online, Facebook, but now, when you get to see in person, that is the most exciting part. And not only as, as friends and family, and you can't beat that.
You can't beat that. Yeah. That is the be all end all of, paranormal community has its problems here and there, but there's a lot of good people in it. And
absolutely.
And when you get to meet them and you get to interact, that's fantastic.
For life,
And we're going to get to see Todd and Carmella again this coming weekend.
We're spoiled.
Yeah, it sucks to think that you guys are only 7 hours from us.
I know.
But the best comment is we were all in a group chat one day, and Ron and I both stated the fact, and it was along the line of these words, that we spend so much time in the paranormal chasing spirits and chasing voices and communication from those that are past and those that are dead, we forget sometimes about how much the relationships matter to us of the people that we touch and the ones that are still living.
Right.
That's the biggest portion of this community, guys. Don't ever forget it. And you can see that with the six of us with the EVPE and anybody like the Cocos that we become friends with. That it is a true connection. Jennie Collucci, who unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight. It is an honest and true spiritual connection, other than chasing after what we try and live for, and what the people have died for, the communication that we search for. Standing next to Ron, that is true.
Oh yeah.
So we're gonna pick on Ron a little bit. Thank you, 305. You guys are truly genuine too.
Love you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We're gonna pick on Ron a little bit. Have you guys ever seen Fantasy Island?
Great.
No.
It's been a while, but yes.
So when Tony and Ron are standing next to each other, and here's the difference. Tony is only about a half inch taller than I am, but I'm much wider.
Sure.
And you will see that in some of Jenny's videos in 2 weeks. I'm working on it.
What do you corn dog? Corn dog.
Big guy.
Nice.
I work out. I have a belly. I'm a big guy. I'm part German, and you see it in my stature. It runs in my family. Tony's about a half inch taller than I, but there's about a 50-pound difference between Tony. Actually, 40 pounds this week, by the way.
Wow.
What?
Yeah.
What? I didn't hear that.
He said 40 pounds this week.
Nice. I gained 40.
10.
Whoa.
But when you put Ron in between us, it looks like Tony and I are taking our son for a walk.
Oh, that's hysterical.
But we love him to death.
We do, and it was great to see them too, and we're looking forward to seeing them again.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, he might be 5'2", but he's got a heart of a 7-foot tall man.
He does.
Yeah.
He absolutely does. Absolutely does. Just great people all around.
Yes.
Everyone that was at the bash and just the group we hung around with and communicated with. It was a good experience. It was a very good experience.
Oh, and there's one person I have to mention. Sorry, guys, I'm leaning out here for a second. There is one person I have to mention. If anybody that's ever at an event where there's an Anthony Simonelli there, you have to take the time to talk to that man. There he is.
Yep.
I was hoping Tony wouldn't step on Ron. That is another guy. He's a paisan.
Mm-hmm.
But that is another guy with a heart the size of New York City, guys.
Yeah,
you
agreed.
take the time, you meet Anthony Simonelli, sit and talk to the man.
Okay,
I know he's 5'6".
Oh, 5'6". Was that Lourdes or was that Ron?
I think that's
Ron.
I think that's Ron. Yeah, Anthony's got a heart of gold, and
He does.
I kind of actually we let him down because it was our birthdays, a couple weekends ago, and I had I think I had tiramisu? I forget. Oh, we had key lime pie. Key lime pie because that's Carmella's favorite. I let Anthony down because he was like, "What? No cannoli?"
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell your story.
Absolutely
So
agree.
Carmella's got a story for you. She thought she was famous.
Oh, don't say that. I gotta tell the story. So we went to the little cafe that you guys went to. And we were eating breakfast, and I see these two guys come. We're outside. I see these two guys, and they're staring at me. I'm like, and they have their phone out. I'm like, they know me. They've seen me on TV. Oh my God. I was so excited. And they're looking at me, and I'm like, what are they going to say? What do they want? My autograph? And they're like, are you Carmella? I'm like, yes. How do you know it's me? He's like, oh, I found your wallet. I'm like, damn. Straight. I'm like, it's me. It's really me.
We thought we got recognized from being on your podcast on the
Found your wallet.
Guys here, he's like this. He's like this. He's like this. He's like Carmella. I'm like,
it's really her.
I'm like, who the hell knows you? Like, not that, but not that. No, it's just like it's like what?
He's like, no, I found your wallet. I'm like, damn. You could have off a little. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Awesome.
At least they found you to return it. Probably wouldn't have taken you long to figure out we were missing
right
it.
there. So it was literally we could see our
were
car.
right
It was
there.
like 5 feet away from us. So
Wow.
he went. He's scrolling. He looked at name. He's
he was
scrolling through
staring at us
Facebook.
with
He's
the-
like,
I'm like, oh, they know me. How do they know me?
Right?
Like,
Right. It was nice that they returned
Yeah.
It was very
Yeah.
nice. It was very
it. Of course,
nice.
all the cash was gone, but the wallet.
There wasn't much in
there
there.
wasn't any.
There wasn't much in there.
We had already spent it at the cash.
Yeah, nobody carries cash anymore.
No, it's
Well,
true.
Well, and
Yeah,
that's a common problem in the paranormal is if you have paranormal equipment, you usually don't have cash in your wallet.
Yeah, right.
So speaking of the paranormal, you guys have caught us on an off night. We're talking about the bash. We want to make sure that everybody out there in the audience comes to meet us and comes down to the bash and gets to see all the awesome people. There was one thing, and this was pretty cool. When the whole Jennie Collucci thing was happening, we ran up to Todd and Carmella's room to get some K2s and some equipment and some booze.
I was gonna say,
Oh, hi, son.
hello.
It's
Hey,
TJ.
Hi,
You love the
TJ.
paranormal,
Hey,
right?
Yes.
Yes, he loves it.
He had to shave
He
his.
doesn't have a
He
mullet.
doesn't have a mullet. He's
I'm
in a-
like, where'd it go?
Yeah, it's all gone.
It disappeared.
Disappeared.
New hairstyle.
He had to go. He enrolled and started the fire academy. So, so
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations, yes.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Not only that, it's only those Chevy guys and those Dodge guys that have those mullets. The guy with a Tacoma
see
doesn't
that?
supposed to have a mullet.
Who is that?
that's Lacey.
Lacey.
That's our German short hair pointer, Lacey.
Okay, she
Okay, get the dog's ass out of my face. So let's talk a little bit about paranormal. We talk about situational awareness. So we go up to Todd and Carmella's room to get the drinks. While we're there, we get some paranormal equipment too, to go down and start the second phase of the Collucci encounter. And we come walking out, and Carmella's got her K2, and she drops it on the. Well, let me go back. So as we enter the second floor, Jennie Collucci and I and Audra start going, wait a minute. Do you feel that? It's like we're being watched. This floor is worse than the first floor. I'm like, the energy on this floor is freaking insane. We go down to the room, and I've got a little clip that Todd took later. But as we're coming out of the room, Carmella drops her K2. And when the thing hits the floor, it frickin' spikes. And I'm like, hang on a minute. Something doesn't seem right here. So situational awareness. So the room that Jennie was in was considered the most haunted room in the hotel. But there was also a lot of rumors going around that the second floor was extremely haunted. I want to show you this video, and then we'll talk about what happened prior to this video. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. This is 2 minutes. So here we go.
Should I put mine on? I want to put mine on airplane mode. All right, so now I'm on airplane mode. On airplane mode. All right. So the first floor, let's see. Really nothing. Nothing. Let's see what happens when we go upstairs. So this is the test that we were doing. Because evidently the upstairs in our room is really high EMF. These lights. Look at that. As soon as we got here, started going crazy. Look at yours. You got yours going, right? Let's do this light. Yep. Let's put yours up there. Jesus. That's crazy. All right. Hey, John. Nothing there on that one. A little spike. How's yours? Let me see yours.
What?
Yeah, it's spiking. Let me see. Yep. That's crazy. Pegged. So this is just outside our room of 221 and 222. Move it over here a little bit.
Wow.
Wow.
So earlier, when I noticed that Carmella dropped her K2 on the floor and it spiked, what we didn't get on video is we walked the entire second floor. And the only place that the K2 wasn't spiking was about a space this big at the center.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So from this, so about my waist height, and I'm 6 foot tall. So about my waist height for about this much, we weren't getting any reading. But from this point to the lights, it was growing and growing and spiking. And then from this much to the floor, growing and growing and spiking. So there's a significance to that. One, the first floor wasn't doing it. So when you see us show the Collucci encounter, there's a lot of K2 spikes. Yeah, there you go. Jennie and Armando coming up the steps behind me. There was no one there. So here's the hard part about the second floor. Everybody thinks it's extremely haunted. The hard part about the second floor is the first floor wasn't K2 spiking.
Right.
The second floor was a fear cage. And the reason when I stepped onto that floor, I turned around and thought that the second floor was extremely haunted. Tony, what happens when I get near an EMF pump?
He goes nuts, drives him absolutely. The energy drives him crazy.
That's what is happening on the second floor of the Eisenhower. So they've been renovating it. This was built in the 50s, 60s. And I'm telling you right now, from some of the exterior portions of this building, they have not renovated it since the 50s, 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Agreed.
Am I wrong?
No.
Or clean the windows.
Well, every time we walk in that hallway, I feel like somebody's pushing me.
Yeah.
Like I always get tripped. I think they need to fix the carpet.
Well, yeah, the carpet had something to do with that. But on the second floor, the whole second floor is a fear cage, because in the 50s and 60s, the wiring wouldn't have been underground. It would have come in from the roof. So the multiple portion of the wiring comes in from the roof, comes down through the second floor, and most of the wiring going to the first floor is in the floor above. Yeah. And in the floor above that is the roof, right, on the second floor. The entire second floor is a fear cage. It is a big EMF cage. Mm-hmm. So here's the problem. Anybody that did investigating on the second floor, you can't tell from the EMF readings what's real and what's not. Now, do I feel that there were some spirits on the second floor? I'm pretty positive there was. The problem is any equipment that you would use on the second floor of the Eisenhower, you would not be able to tell what is what. And that is the perfect example of a fear cage. If nobody's ever experienced one, go to the Gettysburg Bash next year, go to the second floor. Situational awareness, guys. You got to be paying attention. And Anthony Simonelli, an ex-electrician, he's watching the show right now. Yeah. Most of that wiring is probably still aluminum. The reason they switched to copper wiring in the newer stuff and in the codes is because copper wiring will contain it a little bit better, right? It'll contain that EMF coming off that electrical charge going through that wire. There you go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They grounded the copper wiring, which eliminates the EMF flowing. Back in the 50s and 60s, it wouldn't have been grounded. Audra's got to get a drink. She's coughing, guys. For those of you not watching, Audra's had bronchitis for the last week. But if you have a combination of aluminum wiring and you have a combination of it not being grounded, it's going to emit an EMF. It's 2 stories, Everett. So the second floor is the main corridor for all the electrical that flows throughout the whole building.
You know what else I found interesting? And I won't want to reveal anything or ruin when Jennie comes on to explain about what happened. But one of the things that I found interesting, knowing you've already said that this entity did not like women, was that room 158, if you walked into the room through the door, the patio door went right out to the pool. So it's very interesting that he'd be hanging out in that set of rooms, knowing that women like to be by the pool. Women like the easy access. You don't even have to go out your key door. You can go right out the patio door and you're right at the pool.
So let me make it clear for everybody watching, not this week, but the following week is when we'll do the encounter of Jennie Collucci. And the energy in the room that she was in, that you'll see in the evidence, and Todd and Carmella were a witness to this, is a late 70s, early 80s biker. Women were owned. They weren't. They didn't have a voice. They weren't. How can I say this? It's not that he didn't like women. He loved women. They just weren't allowed to speak.
They didn't have a say.
They didn't have a say. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Thank you, Anthony. So when you see the evidence next week or the week after next, you'll understand more. It's not that he didn't like women. Oh, he loved women. But they were only for one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Who put the good old days? Who was that?
Oh,
Raul.
Oh, boy. Trouble.
Coming from a Democrat.
Oh.
Love you, Raul, but I had to say it. Sorry. So situational awareness. This is what I'm talking about, guys. The minute that Carmella dropped that K2 and I saw that spike, it did make sense because a K2 won't spike just from being dropped, right? And when it landed and it laid there, the spike was there. Probably the spike was there. It stayed pegged. And that's the first thing that caught my eye. And then that's what made us start doing the experiment on the second floor, is because, hang on a minute, maybe I'm not feeling all spirits. Maybe it's just there's something going on here. And it was insane, the fear cage on that second floor. It was crazy. I mean, the floor was probably, the one hallway we went down was probably at least a football field, right? Or at least 3/4 of a football field.
Yeah.
And the whole damn thing was an EMF fear cage. Now, with that being added, we did the same test on the first floor. Nada.
And not only one, to add to that, Chris. So when we did that investigation in Jennie's room, we always bring. We weren't sure if we were going to do any investigation. I'm glad we brought the dead bell, and Jennie she had purchased the crypto cords, and then we had the K2s out. We were getting a lot of timing and relevance responses.
Oh, guys, what's exciting about this is not only the Staticom portion of it, but there was an initial, 15-minute investigation, and now I'm starting to tease because we're almost running out of time, guys. There was a 15-minute investigation that was just Audra, I, and Jennie. Once she told us what was happening, she said, "Hey, can you guys come read the room?" I'll answer that question in just a second, Raul. So there was a 15-minute investigation. Jennie said, "Can you guys come to the room and just do a reading?" The minute I walked into the room, it was like, dude, there's a man standing in the corner. Then Audra started getting her snapshots. And what was scary is what I was reading in the snapshots that Audra was getting were lining up. And then what I picked up is I put my hand on the wall and I read the room. I grounded with the room, and then it just started flooding in. It was insane. Yeah, I picked up what happened in the room.
Or
you will see Jennie reenacted what she went through the previous night. I showed her what I was seeing, and everything started connecting. And then we had, just in the 15 minutes, you'll see that when Jennie's on in 2 weeks, you will see within the first 15 minutes of just her and Audra and I in there, she ran a digital recorder. There were 5 to 6 EVPs caught that were Class A's.
So, hey Chris. So when we walked Jennie back to the room, was that for the night? Was that? Did you guys Was that the first night or?
That was the first night.
That was the first.
That was night. Friday night. Saturday night. Saturday afternoon is when Audra and I and Jennie did the 15 minutes.
Carmella, she can tease with her.
Oh, when we opened the door, I said, "Jennie, he's in the corner. He's sitting in that chair right there."
Yeah.
Yep.
And she said, "Oh, thanks."
That happened the day before. And then I walked into the room and pointed to the same corner and said, "He's standing right there." Yeah. Here's the most awesome part about this, guys. The energy in the room was so intense. Mm-hmm. You will get to see it. I said, "Hey, is your name?" And we get a confirmation.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I pulled his name. What popped into my head, he repeats it. And I'm giving you guys a teaser because you guys really need to see this. This is it. It's not a regular EVP show where we bring you on. We show evidence of where somebody was caught, evidence that was captured at different locations that they've investigated at. Guys, this was at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash. Jennie Collucci had an intense experience in that room. We did a quick EVP session, and within 15 minutes, literally 12 to 15 minutes, there was 5 to 6 EVPs, Class A's, in response to the reading I was having, in response to what Audra was also picking up at the same time. Later that night, Todd and Carmella came back with us, and all 5 of us did an EVP K2 session. There was also Dead Bell was there. We were getting timing, relevance, and intelligent responses on the K2, on the Dead Bell, on the coffin box. What was the coffin box?
That was her Scooby-Doo box.
Her Scooby-Doo box. Yeah. And Todd's new toy.
Which we didn't know how it was working with the laser grid, and the laser grid was going on and off, and that could have very well been him.
Yes. So the laser grid on Todd's new device only goes off when motion is detected. It wasn't facing any of us in the room that were living. And the laser grid kept going off.
Oh, nice. That would be awesome, Anthony.
Yes, that would be awesome, Anthony.
That would be great. Yeah.
So there is, in this room, there is some residual energy from what took place in the room. And then the guy that caused the residual energy is still in the room. We got timing. We got relevant. We got K2 hits. We got Dead Bell hits. We've got EVPs. Guys, between Audra and I and Jennie, 12 to 15 minute session, 5 to 6 EVPs, Class A's. Todd, Carmella, Jennie, Audra, and I went in, and we were only in there for like an hour and 15 minutes. Yep. And we're constantly getting intelligent responses the whole time. Jennie checked out Saturday. Tony and Cherie went in and did a Staticom session Saturday night. And this is part 2 to the Collucci encounter, right? Coming up in 2 weeks. Tony and Cherie got direct, intelligent responses in the exact same form and fashion that we did. Yeah. Now, to answer Raul's question, we walked and did a K2 on the entire first floor to make sure that the first floor wasn't a fear cage. That question right there. K2 readings were dead. until we started getting intelligent responses from the energy in the room.
Q2 was going off.
So no, the K2 did not react to anything on the first floor like it did to the second floor. It's a completely different floor with different energy, not caused by anything physical. We want to see, but things are keeping us from learning about what happened. I'm doing it on purpose, guys. I'm creating your anticipation, so in 2 weeks you join in. I'm teasing you because if I tell you anything, it will ruin the show, and I'm not going to do that because this is
Jennie's experience.
This is Jennie's experience. We want her to be here for it. Unfortunately, she couldn't be here tonight. She is not well at all, guys. So we want to make sure we send out prayers to Mrs. Collucci and her family to make sure that she recovers. Okay. So it was a pretty serious sickness that she's not here tonight. That's the only reason she's not here. So Karen's not understanding a fear cage. So a fear cage is when natural energy creates an area within an environment or a building or a location where EMF is so strong. When EMF is strong, it can cause delusions. It can cause headaches, hallucinations. It can cause you to feel like the place is haunted when it's actually the EMF being pumped out by electrical devices that is causing that sensation. The second floor is a complete fear cage. Now, is there energies on the second floor that could live in or be and exist among that fear cage? Yeah, they could actually be up there. I'm pretty sure there probably is with the history of the hotel. That does not, the fear cage is not happening on the first floor. And that was one of the first things we did once we found it on the second was to make sure that we weren't experiencing that on the first floor.
Yeah, the reason they call it fear cage, it was a television expression, but really high EMF can play tricks with your mind, with your senses, and fear is one of the outcomes that can be felt. Like you're fearing that you're being watched, and very high EMF levels can cause that. So that's where the term comes from.
And yes, she did stay in that room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the second night. Yep, she spent both nights in there.
And then we spent the third.
Okay, Karen. So you'd never heard it called a fear cage before? Yeah. It's the layman's term. It's not a really technical term. You missed it all, Scott. The good news is, Scott, is you didn't miss the Collucci encounter. There you go, Todd. Or Raul. Maybe a ghost is stopping it from happening. That is why none of us are paranormal experts. We have experts in the audience, and we have guys that knows exactly what a physical environment can cause. But when it comes to spiritual, nobody has all the answers, unfortunately. Yeah, ghost equals paranormal. Yeah. Anything unexplained that you can't explain away is paranormal. All right, guys. Anything else you want to add before we sign off for the night?
When we going back? Oh,
you guys are going back next week.
I know.
Next week.
Next week.
No, for the bash.
No, but if you've never been to the bash, to the Gettysburg bash, just a fantastic event.
It even
Can you
Sorry.
show your dog, please?
Hang on.
If
John
you-
just walk in.
Anyway, as I was saying, did she mute me? Oh, okay.
No,
If you've never been there, check it out. I mean, it really was a great event. There were fantastic people there. There's a ton of interaction amongst people. They did everything from different events and parades, and people marching through the hotel, and playing instruments and bands, and it was a really good event. We enjoyed it, and I'm sure anyone else who's got any interest in the paranormal would enjoy it as well.
Yes. Not only that, friends, people that you haven't seen in person.
Yeah.
222. Dos Cocos. Is there anything you would like to add as our special guest co-host tonight?
It was just the whole experience is a wonderful wonderful experience there with friends. Allow time for the, with the vendors and stuff, and to meet and greet. And you think, you're going to make it through. Like Chris said at the beginning, you think you're going to, when you go to see your friends, you may get trapped and because you haven't seen them in a while. So just a lot of appropriate amount of time when you get there to try and take it all in, because there's a lot to see and a lot of people, a lot of vendors to support. It's a great weekend.
Agreed.
And Todd brings up a very good point. Vendors to support.
Oh yeah, the vendors are fabulous.
90 to 95% of the vendors on the floor are there, and what they're doing is they're living. It's not just about the paranormal. So if you get a chance to go to these Paracons, you get a chance to go to Gettysburg Bash, make sure you take the time. We always take the time to buy things from certain vendors and certain people, of course, that we adore. But make sure you take the time to spend some time at their booth, get to know them, and remember that they spent money to be there so they could make money to earn their living. That's not, they don't just, a lot of these people don't just have side jobs. Like Kayla's a phenomenal person, guys. If you haven't met her, Simonton, she's a phenomenal person. She quit her day job and is doing the paranormal 100%. So when you see her at these Paracons, make sure you stop by her booth. Make sure you contribute to people like that, because they're all about the paranormal, and that's exactly what they're doing for a living. So do what you can to support them.
Nice, Scott.
I'm gonna quit my job too.
Me too.
Next year, if the mechanical bull's there, I'm doing the mechanical bull.
Support should be okay.
So for everybody watching, they did have a mechanical bull that you could pay to ride. But let me tell you from experience, when I was younger, I rode a real one and I rode a mechanical one. And the mechanical one
is worse.
Fucked me up worse than the real one. All right.
That's why I almost hopped on it before we went to pick up Tony and Cherie, and I'm like, yeah, probably bad idea. Let me. Yeah. And then maybe when I come back, I'll ride it, but I never got to it.
Don't be shy. Just say how you feel. Don't be shy.
So guys, make sure you plan for the bash next year. Most of all, besides the bash, next week we've got a new group on from Arizona called EVPE. This is a group that's never been on the show before. This is the first time that they've got to show their evidence. That's what EVP is about. Not only do we have the seasoned people on, not only do we have people like Johnny Zaffis on, but we also have those groups that nobody's ever seen before, so they could show the evidence that they've captured. That's EVPE we got coming next week. The following week, we should have Jennie Collucci on with her Collucci encounter. Everything that we teased you about tonight, you'll get to actually see what happened. You'll get to see Audra and I and the Cocos and Jenny in action. And then the following week after that, you'll get to see Tony and Cherie in action with the Staticom project in the same room. And I'm telling you guys that what we captured and the experience that we had in that room was beyond phenomenal. My paranormal hangover lasted 2.5 days. It was worse than the one I got from Tala. That's how intense the energy was in this room. So guys, make sure you tune in. Don't forget to come back to EVPE. We will be here next week with EVPE, a fabulous group of women from Arizona. Don't forget to tune in. I want to say thank you to the Cocos for being our guest co-host tonight.
Thank you very much for the invite.
Being such phenomenal people, make sure that you guys hook up with them when you're at Gettysburg Bash next year, because they are phenomenal people. They really, truly are.
Agreed.
Thank you.
With that being said, guys, everything that we've talked about tonight, everything about the experiences that we've talked about, everything about the situational awareness that we've talked about, everything about the bash that we've talked about and the people we love so dearly, there's only one way that you can make all that happen. You have to stay haunted. All right, guys, we will see you next week. Have a good night.
Have a good night. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Can you give me a name? What's your name?